Coming up on RMU Live, Robert Morris has been nationally ranked for the first time in the school's history, also adding new features to the Student Health Center. Later, the Sandra Bland case has an ending to their story. Welcome back to RMU Live for Friday, September 16th, 2016. I'm Maria DeBone.
And I'm Malik Frierson. Here's what's happening now.
RMU has achieved status as a nationally ranked university for the first time in Robert Morris history. The Carnegie Classifications of Institution gave the university the title of Doctorate University, replacing the former title of Master's University. RMU ranked at number 188 on the list of renowned universities. Different factors are considered for the ranking of a school. This year's criteria included the freshman to sophomore retention rate, six-year graduation rate, and expected graduation rate.
The Student Health Center at Robert Morris University has added a convenient feature to their services. Maria has more on the story.
Here at the Student Health Center at the Jefferson Building, there's a new student resource available to students. RMU partnered with UPMC, and I'm here to find out what it is and what's available. As the new school year begins, new and returning colonials may be asking, what are these new additions?
It's new. This is a new student resource because My Health at School seeks to promote health and wellness in the student population and remove any barriers to the students' health by making easy access, convenient, and at no cost to them, and provide a trusting environment for them to take care of their acute illnesses.
The center, being the very first UPMC My Health at School, makes the staff excited, especially that it's now more accessible for students.
Return. So we're working towards integrating this system efficiently so that it can be convenient for the students to come in when they can throughout the day, and if need be, see a provider through the telemedicine.
The center is also looking to collaborate with the student nurses at RMU.
With our program, we really don't get to interact with humans.
Here at the Student Health Center at the Jefferson Building, there's a new student resource available to students. RMU partnered with UP.
Leilani Thomas won't say the Pledge of Allegiance to this Lower Lake High School American flag or...
This resource will help many people around the school. The Student Health Center can be contacted by calling 412-397-6621.
Saudi Arabia's National Day, September 23rd, is filled with pride and celebration each year. Today at Robert Morris, the Saudia Student Club is having an event open to all students that invites them to learn about the Saudia culture and to celebrate with them. There will be folklore dance, free food, shows, a magic show, kids activities, and more. This will be featured in the Seawall Center Arena from 5 to 8 p.m.
A developing story in Pittsburgh today as PennDOT announced that the Liberty Bridge, which has been closed for repairs after a devastating fire on September 2nd, will remain closed beyond September 19th. There is still no word, however, on an exact date the bridge could reopen, though PennDOT is telling drivers to prepare for these fixtures to take at least a few more weeks. Over a dozen Pittsburgh public schools will be switching from yellow school buses to public port authority buses next Monday. Officials claim that stopping the yellow bus service in these schools will ensure that more middle school students will be given an adequate amount of yellow bus service. Many parents are concerned about the change, fearing for their children's safety after a 17-year-old was shot and wounded outside the T station earlier this week.
Ubers and their drivers have been around for years, making it easy and accessible for people to get to locations without having to drive. But now Uber is launching a test program where riders will see the cars driving themselves. Multiple companies, including Google and Nissan, have been looking to make such cars. But Uber is the first to have self-driving cars available to the public. And as a precaution, there is a driver in the driver's seat if something would go wrong. The cars are being tested now, but Uber predicts that fully self-driven cars will not be open to the public for years to come. A man in Homestead is being charged for burning down an entire block of homes after he set fire to his couch, saying there were voices in his head. Edward McDonald is diagnosed as a schizophrenic and bipolar. He was not taking his medication during the fire in 2015. McDonald apologized and was sentenced to 4 to 8 years in prison. In the past few days, there have been 5 fatal heroin overdoses in Pittsburgh. Following, 2 suspected drug dealers have been arrested. A family member of one of the victims has come forward urging addicts to get help, adding that people need to think about what they're doing and see what the terrible results could be. The 2 dealers were found in possession of several bags of heroin. They are both facing possession charges.
Donald Trump Jr. visited Washington County on Wednesday to campaign for his father. The son of the presidential candidate visited the Waynesburg University building in South Point to open an office for his father and running mate, Mike Pence. Donald Trump Jr. spoke about how important Pennsylvania is in this year's election, as well as briefly talking about his father's health, reassuring that health isn't an issue for Donald Trump. In other election news, Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump will be visiting Norman, Oklahoma this Saturday to attend a fundraiser. The event will be taking place some 2 hours before the football game against Ohio State, a game in which Trump was not invited. Meanwhile, Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton was campaigning in Greensboro, North Carolina on Thursday, with a scheduled visit to the swing state of Ohio next.
A retired United States Marine who saved a woman from a burning building was one of the 11 people honored Thursday morning by the American Red Cross. Sergeant J. Wilform, Jr. and one other person rescued Loretta Marburger from the fire on Ormsby Avenue. In Mount Oliver 2 years ago, Wilmore says that he is not a hero, but Marburger thinks differently. This Marine said he is very appreciative of the new bond that he has with the woman and her family. Coming up on RMU Live, not only athletes are refusing to stand for the national anthem anymore.
And we finally have a conclusion to the story of Sandra Bland. We'll be right back.
These boys are my heroes. They come every week to spend time with my children.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
They can teach them something no one else can.
Wisconsin.
They're role models to the children, and homework comes way before sports. Their grades have improved, and their lives are just a bit richer.
Okay.
What they do for my kids is truly wonderful.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
I call them my lifeline.
People don't realize how quickly you can end up on the street. One thing happens in your life, medical bills you can't pay, you lose your job, and that's it.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
We went to DC to work with the homeless. They sell a newspaper called Street Sense. Thought I'd help.
But if you want to give more, you can.
This person came up to me and said, "Get a job." And for 2 hours, I felt what it was like to be homeless.
Good morning. $1 help on.
Some of the other students said, "How can we change this?" And I said, "Sometimes you can't change the world, but you may be able to change one person's world." My dream? Open a psych clinic for people on the street.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
Russia is accusing the United States of failing to follow its truce agreement in Syria. The truce has been going on since Monday, and the UN says there is a problem with getting aid to Syria. The Syrian army and rebels have been accusing each other for violations, and the truce has made sure that the Syrian Air Force does not bomb rebel areas.
A new study from Harvard School of Business reveals a distressing conclusion that politics is crippling the U.S. economy. According to the study, many Americans are doing much worse financially than they did 2 years ago. The study also showed that small businesses have declined dramatically since 2008. Larger corporations, on the other hand, are flourishing thanks to their ability to move business to other countries. One major problem, according to the study, was the U.S. tax system, which uses a tax code that hasn't been updated in decades. This morning, a suicide bombing at Pakistan mosque killed at least 25 people. Jamaat-ul-Ahrar, a group of Taliban, took the blame for the attack. It happened in the biggest mosque in the Mohammed Agency that holds 100 to 150 people. The Pakistani Prime Minister, Nawaz Sharif, said the country will not be shaken by the cowardly act.
Athletes refusing to stand during the national anthem has Americans across the country on either side of the debate. But now 2 girls in Lower Lake High School are refusing to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and questioning any repercussions.
Leilani Thomas won't say the Pledge of Allegiance to this Lower Lake High School American flag or any other. She is a Native American and says the stars and stripes aren't hers.
It's the reason because of the history that happened here on my land, my people's land, and I go by that, and I don't agree with it, so I'm not going to stand for the people who did this to my people.
So since the first day of school, she and her friend chose to exercise their rights as Americans not to say the Pledge of Allegiance in their first period class, and their teacher took exception to it. So when the girls got their grades on Friday, their participation scores were docked from a 5 to a 3 because they refused to stand, they say. Leilani recorded her teacher's explanation in class.
So here's the deal with that. If you really have an argument and feel so strongly about that, then I need to see it written out. Like your argument in an essay form, like why. Because here's the real thing. Those people, they're not alive anymore. Your ancestors.
Leilani and her father took that recording to the administration. The girls have since been moved to another teacher. And in the meantime, Leilani and her friend hope their stance serves as a real-life lesson on free speech.
She says that it represents the military and that they risk their lives for us. But then I always give her the, well, my people risked our lives for our freedom, for our land, and for our rights.
Each demonstration has not been the first of its kind, but it has continued to strike an open dialogue about the issue. Sandra Bland was arrested in July of 2015 after she was pulled over for a minor traffic offense. A dashboard camera showed Bland and the officer arguing, resulting in him threatening her with a stun gun. She was found days after in her jail cell, where she had killed herself. The story made headlines across the country, but nearly 2 years after the incident, a court decision was reached awarding Bland's family $1.9 million in a wrongful death lawsuit.
With more on the story is CNN reporter Nancy Liu.
My child is gone from here. I can't call her. I can't go see her. Her seat is empty at the table. There is no monetary amount because the money's here and it's gone.
Geneva Reed Veal says what she wanted lawyer Cannon Lambert to seek more than money was policy change, not just at the Texas jail where Bland died last summer, but at facilities throughout the country. The Walker County Jail is paying the bulk of the $1.9 million and instituting changes as part of the settlement. Among the family's demands, emergency medical care 24/7 and additional state funds for jail operations. The jail must also start using automatic sensors for cell checks.
There won't be a situation where there's questions about when detainees are checked anymore. There will be electronic wanding that will track the time and the person who's actually doing the checking.
Bland died in a Waller County cell in July of last year, 3 days after her arrest for a traffic stop in which she allegedly became combative. She was moving from Naperville to Texas for a new job. Bland's hanging death was ruled a suicide, which her mother still doesn't believe. She says the truth may never be known.
When you're trying to figure out what happened, what were the final minutes like, what really occurred there, it will drive you crazy. And I have peace knowing that she knew God, and so I'm okay with that.
Bland's mother feels this was a beneficial outcome for the community and the Waller County Jail.
The Galaxy Note 7 phone has been recalled. This comes from their batteries blowing up. Customers say they are frustrated with the ongoing problems. The phone has been having this recall. It includes over 1 million devices. The company made a formal announcement saying users should power down their Galaxy Note 7s and contact their carrier customers, while new customers will receive a new phone with a different battery, making it a full recall. Today, the iPhone 7 are released to the public. Some were disappointed to hear that the iPhone 7 Plus and the iPhone 7 in jet black were only available for the ones who pre-ordered, but this did not stop the public from lining up outside the doors of Apple stores around the world. The iPhone 7 has already broken records with multiple cell phone carriers and pre-orders.
And for more information, be sure to visit rmu.centurymedia.com.
And coming up after the break, RMU-Live's Cassidy Walters will be in our weekly weather forecasting. We'll be right back.
People don't realize how quickly you can end up on the street. One thing happens in your life, medical bills you can't pay, lose your job, and that's it.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
We went to DC to work with the homeless. They sell a newspaper called Street Sense. Thought I'd help.
But if you want to give more, you can.
This person came up to me and said, "Get a job." And for 2 hours, I felt what it was like to be homeless.
Good morning. $1 help.
Some of the other students said, "How can we change this?" And I said, "Sometimes you can't change the world, but you may be able to change one person's world." My dream? Open a psych clinic for people on the street.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
In 1977, an 8-year-old boy picked up the game of golf from his father. The odds of that same boy then making it to the US and European Pro Golf Tours? 1 in 7 million. The odds of the Big Easy winning the US Open twice? 1 in 1.2 billion. The odds of him having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 150. Ernie Els encourages you to learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Okay. This is Robert Morris Radio.
He is a freshman nursing major.
I'm just a boy with a dream, and I just got lucky. And
Wrap this campus up if we got Villanova.
I know one team that would have been there.
Broadcasting live from the Academic Media Center at Robert Morris University.
You're listening to RMU Radio.
On RMURadio.com. On RMURadio.com. Your campus, your voice.
Your campus, your voice.
Good afternoon. I'm Cassidy, here with your weekly weather forecast. So for today's weather, as you can see, it is 81 and partly cloudy. And there's only a 20% chance of rain. Leading into tomorrow's weather, it's going to get a little bit worse. We're going to have scattered thunderstorms throughout the day, and then the high is 80. Now moving into our weekly weather forecast, we are going to have extreme thunderstorms on Sunday with a high of 76 and a low of 63. The week is going to be much better than what the weekend will be. On Monday, it's going to be a high of 80 and a low of 60. Now, if you're making any plans for this week, I would highly recommend on Tuesday because it's going to be sunny all day with only a 10% chance of rain, and the high is 81 with a low of 56. Wednesday is going to be a bit more rainy with scattered thunderstorms and a high of 81 with a low of 60. And then Thursday is going to be a high of 85 and a low of 63 with a 20% chance of rain. That's all I have for the weekly weather forecast this week. Now back to Malik and Maria for the end of the show.
That's all we have for RMU Live.
We'll see you next week.